Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody is doing well, sticking to those New Year's resolutions that they made or you made. I've never made a New Year's resolution. I've just never gone down that path. I've always kind of felt that if it was something that needed to be done, I shouldn't have to kick it off on January 1st. You just need to go ahead and do it. Or you shouldn't stick to something that you need to stick to because it's a New Year's resolution. You just stick to it because you have to. I'm not perfect. I fail often, but I just think New Year's resolutions are bogus. But then again, I mean, if they help somebody, if that's the last bit of motivation they need or the only motivation that prompts them, then God bless them. Good luck with whatever they're trying to achieve. What I'm trying to achieve right now is to wrap my mind around some things going on in the world of sports, specifically college football at this moment. The college football playoff has absolutely been fantastic. We've only got a handful of games left, really only a couple of games left, not even a handful. I hope it finishes the way it's been trending throughout the entirety of the playoff and really the entirety of the regular season also. The regular season was fantastic, and I think that was a direct benefit of the playoff. Let's go ahead and get to our rundown now. And you can see my nice fancy little graphic. Not really, but it serves its purpose, right? College football playoff semifinals, halfway through. We're almost done. Let's just have some fun here with this. Ooh, look at that one. You like that one? No? How about we go with this one? Oh, there it is. There it is. We'll go with that one. And for the folks who are listening on Spotify, I'm jagging around with some graphics here on StreamYard. Yeah, the college football playoff semifinals. Got Oregon, got Indiana. Hoosiers 3.5-point favorites in the Peach Bowl. Winner goes to the national championship game. The other half, it's already set. Miami with that 31-27 win over Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl Thursday night. It was absolutely fantastic. It was thrilling. It was everything that we hope a playoff game will be. And throw up your hand. Throw up your hand if you had Miami in the national championship. Wait, I can't. Throw up your hand if you had any of these four teams playing for a national championship. Who saw it coming? Nobody. If they tell you they saw it coming, back away immediately. Their pants are about to catch on fire. They're lying. They're lying. Just been a wonderful postseason. And it further shows us that parity is on the way. When you have money involved and you're tiptoeing towards a professional model, parity is often the result. That's the way it is in the NFL. The NFL model is predicated upon achieving parity. In a perfect world, every NFL team goes 9-7 or 7-9. Remember, they got the 17-game schedule now. Is that happening in college football? I don't know if it's quite to that extreme, but it's allowing some schools that have not been competitive to be competitive, and it's bringing the ones who have been dominating back to the pack a little bit. I'm good with it, though. But the price is that some of the people, some of the groups, some of the schools that have been dominant aren't as dominant as they have been. And we'll touch on that in a moment. Right now, Miami headed to the national championship, first time in a long time since after the 2002 season. Going to make $20 million on their college football playoff run. $20 million. And that's because the ACC doesn't divvy it up and give it to the members. They get to keep all that. So God bless the Miami Hurricanes. Here's another interesting tidbit, though, regarding that. Miami gets an additional $3 million in travel expenses for the national title game. It's at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. So that's another $3 million they'll get to keep in their pocket. So good on the U for making bank, in addition to also going to play for a national title. Really cool to watch all the old players, all the old stars, Miami legends come out for these big time games. It says a lot about the program and the culture there, and I dig it. Interesting to note, Clemson and Florida State, the two schools that really spearheaded the litigation against the ACC and sought for the uneven revenue distribution and all that. Combined 12-13 this year, 6-10 in the conference. Didn't work out like they planned. We'll talk about that in upcoming episodes. I mentioned dominance and how some people who have been dominant aren't no longer dominant, or some people's SEC failing to make a title game for a third straight year. The sky is falling. SEC won 13 straight titles between 2006, 2022, 6 straight between 06 and 2012. They haven't won one since Georgia won the second of its back-to-back championships. Man, twisting in Birmingham. SEC went 4-10 this bowl season. That's a 286 win percentage. It's as many wins as the Sun Belt and the same winning percentage as the Mountain West. Goodness gracious. How in the world did we ever get to this point? And what does it mean? Are the days of the SEC running roughshod over everyone over? Will they come back? How did this happen? It's no coincidence that this decline coincides with the beginning of NIL, transfer portal, and all that. It's no coincidence it also coincides pretty much with the retirement of Nick Saban. We've got Blake Toppmeyer of USA Today. He's going to join us in a few minutes. I want to get his take on this. I want to get his take on what happened to get us to this point. What can the SEC do to reestablish a place of dominance, or is that even possible? And what does it mean for other sports? In my mind, the saving grace in all this is that while the SEC, because of the advent of NIL and the transfer portal and all that, player empowerment might be the best way to frame it with one umbrella. Because of all that, it's actually enabled the conference to be better in basketball. Throwing that out there. Now, the SEC not as dominant as it was last year. Last year was an historic season by all accounts for men's basketball, but still really, really good, and certainly much better than it was a decade ago. It's no longer Kentucky and maybe one other team, perhaps two other teams. There are several teams now that are legit national level quality championship, however you want to put it, teams. And part of it is because of a concerted effort towards the end of the Mike Slive era as commissioner of the SEC to elevate basketball, to take the money from SEC football that they were getting from the network and put it into basketball. And you do that by improving your facilities, one, but also by hiring better coaches. SEC stable of coaches is absolutely phenomenal. And you have to hire a special guy who can not only coach, but who also knows his place on campus. Nate Oates cooks as well as he does at Alabama, in part because he realizes that football will always be king, and he's cool with that. He just wants to go coach. It makes me think about a Brad Brownell who's in a comparable situation at Clemson, has been for a long time, how he would fare at an SEC school. That's an interesting scenario, and we will explore that at another time. But being able to go out and pump money into programs that want to be good at basketball through NIL to bring in players, so on and so forth, that has helped just increase the quality of that product and has made the SEC, in my opinion, still the best basketball conference in the country, even though it's not quite as dominant as it was last year. That's something we're going to discuss with Blake Toppmeyer when he joins us in just a few minutes. Oh, here's an interesting nugget. This one got my attention. Big news today. And it's Friday, by the way. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, just an absolute superstar. Ferris State champion, transfers to Ole Miss. He's backing up Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons hurts his ankle. Next thing you know, Trinidad Chambliss is in, and he's just the face of college football other than Mendoza. Well, he was denied a 6-year waiver by the NCAA. They applied for it back in November. The NCAA shot it down verbally in December. So Ole Miss is going to appeal, but let's say they lose. Well, Chambliss is off to the NFL. He's been projected as a day 3 pick. Have to think maybe a little bit better now, thanks to the way he's performed in the college football playoff. And if he were to come back, he would be the face of the sport. Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner, more than likely gone. I would presume he's gone to the NFL. He would be the face of college football. More locally, in Ole Miss, in Oxford, they've got to get a quarterback because Trinidad Chambliss had vowed to return next year. Ole Miss now scrambling for a QB1. So I have to think that now that their run through the playoffs is over, they're going to start hitting the portal and find out who can take that role next year. Something interesting to explore. Here's a troubling bit of news. Washington quarterback Damon Williams Jr. He's pivoting. He signed a $4.7 million deal with the Huskies last week, and then on Tuesday enters the transfer portal. On Thursday, he said, I better not do that. Now, meanwhile, his dad said that they have a $6 million deal on the table. $6 million. That's why he went into portal. He wanted that extra $1.3 million. So obviously loyalty means nothing. His agent dropped him. Doug Hendrickson of Wasserman Sports said, no, man, I'm not doing this. I worked a deal for you. I got you a deal. I got you a big deal. I made you one of the highest players in college football, and now you're going to enter the portal? Come on, man. Well, he had to go out and get an attorney. And he got an attorney that we're familiar with, Darren Heitner, sports attorney extraordinaire. And he has sent out a statement saying, he met with the family. They talked yesterday, and it was real serious talk, and it was not for nothing. It's how he actually put it. I don't know how I feel about that phrase. And he says, and I'm quoting a statement from Darren Heitner, there was pure diligence, careful analysis, and recognition that all parties, Damon Williams Jr., Washington, and everyone involved had legitimate interest need to be considered. And they go on and go on. Damon seemed destined to leave Washington after he made the blah, blah, blah. And no matter one day, he figured out he better not go. He arrived at the most well-informed decision possible. It's just gross, man. Just gross. And when it happened, even Jed Fish's wife went on to social media and had I think she said something to the effect of that's sickening or something in response. And Jed Fish now coming out saying Damon has work to do. He's got to win back his teammates. I don't know how you run this back. I really and truly don't. You've lost the faith of your university, your athletic department, because you did sign that contract, and then 4 days later, you're like, no, I'm going to test the waters. That's dirty on so many different levels. One, it's not prudent business. You signed the contract. And two, now I'm questioning your judgment. If you were so set that you put your pen to paper, then what changed? He's 19. I get it. 19-year-olds make mistakes, but come on, man. That's flaky. And then if I'm a player, if I'm a teammate, how can I trust this dude? The whole deal, I don't know how you walk this back. I don't know how he recovers. And I don't know how it's going to affect his play because he's got to be humble. He has got to be a humble guy going forward. And good on Jed Fish in Washington because they were going to do whatever they had to do to keep him from leaving. Not because of he's a generational talent or anything like that. And I'm not questioning his ability. He had 25 touchdowns too for more than 3,000 yards last year. And Washington went 9-4, tough out for everybody just about. But they were saying enough is enough. And if you sign a paper, if you sign a contract, that is binding. And that's something that's really missing in this day and age of college athletics. Doesn't matter. You can sign here, go there, go try this out, hop in a portal, blah, blah. No obligation. We're supposed to be teaching life lessons. What's it teaching us? We'll chop this up in a later episode. But on the other side, we've got our friend Blake Toppmeyer of USA Today, a great columnist for USA Today. He's going to join us. I want to find out what's hurting the SEC. How did we get to this point? What can the Southeastern Conference do, if anything, to return to a position of dominance in college football? Blake Toppmeyer joining us in a moment. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Golfers, IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It, and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back. And once more, it was just been a really, really bummer of an offseason, or postseason rather, for the Southeastern Conference. Very different than what we saw for the better part of this century. I guess we can say that it's 2026 now. And definitely for the last few years before the college football playoff expanded, it's just been bad. and not just a playoff, but bowl seasons in general. And I don't think, as I said earlier, I do not think it's a coincidence that it coincides with the advent of NIL and transfer portal and all that. But let's see if I'm barking up the right tree. Joining us now, it's our buddy Blake Toppmeyer, USA Today. And Blake, I'm just going to ask you straight up a pretty broad question. What the heck is wrong with the Southeastern Conference?
Yeah, I think it's as you say. I think in 2021, NIL and the transfer free agency started to level the playing field a bit. It's not that the SEC stinks now. It's that other programs are buying up players too with above board cash. I mean, if you want to cash a paycheck, you don't have to do that in the SEC. You can do that in West Texas. You can do that in Miami. You can do that at Indiana, Oregon, on down the line. It's spreading out the talent a little bit more. And, you know, it used to be with the SEC, you wanted to play against the best to prepare yourself for the NFL and to capitalize on your value in the NFL. It was like the SEC was sort of the minor league NFL. It was the farm system for the NFL. Well, there's still a lot of draft talent in the SEC, but you don't have to go to the SEC now to prepare your future value. You can go anywhere in the country and cash in on your value right now. You could cash a check from a billionaire oil tycoon in West Texas if you want. It is spreading out the talent.
How have the television deals changed this? Because I also have to think that the SEC benefited by having its own network. And I know the Big Ten did as well, but the SEC really leaned into it. It seemed like to me a little bit harder. But now the TV deals are a little bit different. Has that played any kind of role into this at all?
Yeah, I don't know, because I think the SEC probably enjoys an advantage from being on the worldwide leader. I mean, they're all over the ESPN dial. Obviously, it's a pretty lucrative media rights deal. Big Ten's got a lucrative media rights deal in its own right, but I think there is some advantage for the SEC being with ESPN, ABC. I mean, that is the big media partner for college football, particularly with the college football playoff, and I think the SEC actually gets some bump from that. Whether intentional or unintentional, being the number one topic when it comes to college football across the ESPN platforms. Like I said, I think that's probably more of an advantage than not for the SEC. So I really don't think that's working against them again. I just think it's not just NIL. Like the transfer portal is huge too. Like you had those things coming aboard together at the same time. If it was just one or the other, I don't know if we'd see this, but when you pair them together, it really has scattered the talent now. And the other thing I would say is I think there's really good coaches in the Big Ten. I think the SEC for the longest time was the land of the best coaches. And now there are some elite coaches in the SEC, but I think top to bottom, the Big Ten's doing it just as well, if not better, in the coaching front.
Blake, I also have to wonder, was this always what was going to happen when we leaned more into a professional model? Because you look at the NFL model and its goal, its singular goal, other than to make money, is to create and foster parity. And that's what we're seeing more than anything. We're seeing parity. Was this inevitable? I mean, did the SEC ever really have a chance to maintain its dominance going to this model?
Well, I think it had a chance, but billionaires don't grow on trees, and they're not necessarily all attached to SEC schools, and so it has a chance, and I don't think that it's not like it's fallen off a cliff either, right? I mean, the SEC had 5 teams in the playoff, more than any other conference. It had a team in the semifinals. A couple things go the other way. Ole Miss is in the national championship game, so I think. So two things can be true at once situation. The SEC is not the bully that it once was, that it was for more than a decade plus in the pre-NIL, pre-transfer free agency model. But it also really hasn't fallen off a cliff either. Like it's still one of the two best conferences in the country, no question. It's just that I think the Big Ten is stronger at the top now with a few programs, and I think it's just as good in the middle. It used to be, I think we could say in the middle of the conference, the SEC was better than the Big Ten. I don't even know if that's the case anymore. It's hard to make that case, especially right now, just a week or two after we saw Illinois beat Tennessee in a bowl game and Vanderbilt lose to Iowa in a bowl game. I think at the top, the Big Ten's a little bit better, and I think in the middle, the Big Ten's about the same. So yeah, I mean, the SEC's left playing a little bit catch up, and the thing you do is you pass the hat, you pass the hat again, you pass the hat again. That's the way you do it in this era.
Is the bright side of this for the SEC though maybe that the things that are making it more challenging to maintain dominance or to get back to being dominant in football are the same things that's allowing it to really elevate its product in basketball? And I know it's not quite at the level that it was last year, but the men's game is really good. It's so much better than it was 10 years ago. And it's not just Kentucky and maybe one or two other teams. I mean, there's 10 squads every year, it seems like now, that is a potential NCAA tournament candidate, if not a Final Four candidate.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's a good point with basketball. Like the athletes now, they don't have to go to these tradition-rich programs. It doesn't really matter anymore if it's a blue blood or if it's not. And I think in-state recruiting still helps. It's still a boost to be located in a state that's rich with talent. But it's not the end-all be-all. It's not even as important as it was 5 years ago. Because again, like, before, all things being equal, I think you looked at your state your in-state school having a little bit of advantage. Now, again, that can be leveled off by whoever's got the bigger paycheck that they're throwing in front of you. So, yeah, I think that does allow the SEC to compete for prospects and for transfers in a way that maybe they wouldn't have 5 or 10 years ago in on the basketball front. So, yeah, I think you're right. In the same way it works against the SEC a little bit in football, the devaluing of tradition and blue bloods and all that type of stuff, that can be a boost in on the hardwood.
And Blake, my last point I would like to make, could things be worse if the SEC had jumped on the expansion bandwagon a bit more? Once they got Texas and Oklahoma, if they had maybe added one or two more schools, could things be worse? Because I have to think that still being somewhat geographically sensible has actually helped the Southeastern Conference when it comes to recruiting and looking at transfers who don't have to make massive moves going from one state to another when they're transferring.
Yeah, the SEC has an identity, right? You know what it is. All the schools really fit into that identity. I mean, even when they went a little bit southwest with Oklahoma and Texas, I mean, those are football schools. They're still in the South. It's just a little more southwest than southeast. But there's a clear brand in the Southeastern Conference, and I think that's been good. And they haven't watered down their brand either with expansion, particularly this last round, getting Oklahoma, getting Texas. I mean, Texas was the SEC's only semifinalist last year. And, even though it didn't live up to the hype this year, Texas was on the doorstep of the playoff, and Oklahoma was in the playoff as one of the SEC's 5 representatives. So I think those two adds made the conference stronger, certainly didn't water it down, and it stuck to the brand. So, yeah, the SEC has not been hurt by their own expansion. Now, maybe the Big Ten, getting some West Coast schools and increasing their value that way, maybe that hurts the SEC a little bit. But again, I think that was bound to happen. And so the SEC, they acted the way they did, and the Big Ten counterpunched.
Yeah, we could break that down on another episode. Blake, I know you're really busy. One last question. Are you a nap in the afternoon for a night game guy when you're on the road? I know you're in a hotel right now. You've got to kick off tonight at 7:30. I was always a nap guy around 2 to 4 o'clock.
See, I think I'm not an afternoon nap guy. I think I would be so fearful that I would somehow oversleep and miss the game. I don't think I'd be able to relax and nap. But yeah, these night games are tough. I mean, it's you know how it is. We're not doing brain surgery or digging ditches. This job at the end of it, we're covering football games. It's not a Herculean task, but these night games do wear on you. I've been thinking, 7:30 kickoff here. How am I going to get a boost of energy here? So probably skip the nap and hit the caffeine.
Room service chocolate cake, man. I would do that, but we'll discuss that another time. Blake, I appreciate you hopping on, brother.
Okay, good talking to you.
All righty, it's Blake Toppmeyer of USA Today. I always look forward to Blake's columns in USA Today, and he has a podcast. He and a couple of his colleagues have a podcast that's really good. It breaks things down specifically to the Southeastern Conference. I just find it so ironic how when schools started being able to pay players, then the SEC came back down, because the old joke is about how the SEC always did it. always did it. They were just better than everybody else. And then when everybody else didn't have to figure out how to do it without getting busted, then suddenly the playing field leveled. I know it's an awkward feeling not having the SEC in. It just feels weird, especially after going out and getting the likes of Oklahoma and Texas, because it wasn't supposed to be like this. That was what was supposed to push the SEC even further ahead. The Big Ten responded by going out and getting USC and UCLA, but USC and UCLA aren't on the same par as Texas and Oklahoma, especially UCLA. And I know they countered by adding two more, by going and getting Oregon and Washington. And Oregon, a pretty big brand, but still, it's Texas and Oklahoma. And it just hasn't panned out, at least not on a national level. And it almost masks in all this how some of these programs have elevated themselves because the conference has not benefited the way some of these individual schools has. And I'm thinking about Vanderbilt, who have had two amazing seasons recently, and Ole Miss going to the college football playoff semifinal by virtue of the same things that's keeping the SEC from, again, being dominant. The irony is incredible because Ole Miss doesn't do what it does without NIL. It doesn't do what it does without the transfer portal. Same thing for Vanderbilt. The irony is spectacular. It's a lot to consider. And I'm wondering what Greg Sankey tells the rank and file members. I mean, there's only one solution: spend more, pay more, get more money. That's all you can do in this day and age. You want the best talent. You want to put together the best team. Well, the only way to do it is to write the biggest checks. And that's what Blake Toppmeyer of USA Today told us. And the schools that are willing to do that are the ones who are going to contend. And it's not in just the SEC, but it's everywhere. You can look at Virginia. Virginia decided it wanted to be better at football. Look what's happening. It put money in and it's doing great. Indiana is the perfect case study. Indiana decided it wanted to be better at football, and it became better at football. And of course, it helped that you've got a guy like Curt Cignetti who understands how to work the system, a guy who's an incredible talent evaluator and who's so good at finding parts that are interconnectable, that can gel, and also keeping them hungry. That was my biggest takeaway after they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. His first words on the podium is that he now has 3 weeks to keep this team hungry. I thought that said so much. It helped Indiana be that one team in this 2-year 12-team college football playoff that's gotten a first round bye, an opening round bye, and was able to win when it returned to action despite being off for more than 3 weeks. Because of his ability to keep them focused, keep them hungry. That was huge. But Indiana also decided it wanted to win at football games, and so it started pumping in more money, and of course it helps when you're encouraged by someone like Curt Cignetti. Hey, that's it for this episode. Want to thank Blake Toppmeyer, USA Today, for stopping by. Want to make sure that everybody hits subscribe, follow, whatever, anywhere you view your podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever. Hit us up on all our social media. And we've got one more college football playoff game and then a national championship in like 10 days. So it's an exciting time. Otherwise, until next time, be safe.